Hi, this is Eldervi, and I'm finally back with a new Whalehunter episode. A show dedicated to making us poor people feel better by beating up some rich kids. And also mislabeling rich kids as rich kids, while they might have just been lucky in the past. Nothing wrong in punishing lucky players as well to feel better. And that's it for my first 30 seconds impression YouTube. So, if the algorithm doesn't reward this in theory totally awful sounding concept, you may instead by pressing the subscribe and like button. Am I not creative today? As the last weeks have been so very meta defining, I feel like some of my old Whalehunter matches, which I still have on the backhand, are total garbage by now. But not in this episode, as we will make it a meta special. In today's video, I will first fight a heavily invested turn 1 Force Dancer rally trap, solely dedicated to killing save ball users. So I obviously had to use a save ball team, just because. Next we will deal with the cancerous addition of a plus 10 legendary Sigurd and his minions. And last we will battle the President of Wales, a full plus 10 monster save ball team with freaking 2 plus 10 far safe near safe Vectors, 2 plus 10 Edelgards, and a bonus Duma reaching nearly 70 HP. Isn't that fun? So if you're not wet yet, let's hop into this first water season match. Oh my, I knew I shouldn't have quit therapy. This team left me quite speechless. In a good way. First we have the by now very common no duo Lingard, running Triangle Adept, Shuriken Breaker and Deflect Missile. No duo Lin, got you. Next we have an antique plus 10 Sothis, running a plus HP A and Seal slot. Why? Because of infantry pulls. Wow, haven't seen this one in ages. 57 HP makes her easily charge up legendary Chrome special, which is a turn 1 Deadeye with further help of times pulls and quicken pulls. Combining this with his armor effectiveness and tons of other stuff which I actually already forgot about, cause the time when legendary Chrome was the meta beast seems to be years ago. Memo to myself, don't bring armor units besides Hector. Or hide them well. We obviously have the new obnoxious Pathfinder add-on, which, in all honesty, isn't doing too much in the setup besides providing some extra slot shenanigans. This summoner pretty much took away Node's entire base kit and replaced it with Sturdy Impact, Null Follow-Up and Joint Drive Attack. Or is it Hone Attack? I can never tell the difference. This is honestly an odd choice for me. I don't know who exactly it is supposed to counter. I get it for attackers like Bramimond or also Seiros to some extent, but I think Node actually shines a lot more in the tanking and staying alive to provide cheesy Pathfinder plays role. Next we have legendary Azura at plus 10 with an entirely blue kit. I appreciate that. So aerobatics and ground orders are obviously there for the turn 1 Dancer trap. With ground orders, Shamir gets to travel below Node in order to rally Sigurd. And aerobatics makes Azura reach Shamir to make her go on her rampage. The thing is, both skills are actually unnecessary with Node's Pathfinder ability, and if it were me, I would actually switch them to something else. I think some of these tricks are far more likely overlooked when there's not a skill pointing out the trap right away. In my current not win season setup for example, I use a normal rally node, which doesn't seem to reach anyone but Nana at first, completely crushing any potential setup. But the AI turn order makes sure Peony dances Sara, and therefore gives ground orders over to Node, who can suddenly reach Lith and make things a lot more interesting. I love that map. Easily killable with double tanks, but so entertaining to watch against poor clueless summoners. If you were looking for a hero, you've come to the wrong place. Also look at this. Lovely, isn't it? So let's get to the main player on this stage. Plus 10 Shamir running ARD attack speed, null follow-up, times pulse and death blow. Her -1 cooldown on her survivalist bow together with Time's Pulse and the infantry pulse from Sothis makes her as well charge up her special right in turn 1. And that special is, of course, Deadeye again. Now, in combination with her weapon's effect, granting her a non-counterable double attack, she basically gets the might of 3 attacks in a row with an attack power of around 85 attack and denied damage reduction. Forced in turn 1. Nice. So, preparing for this map I was kinda hopeless. Out of my tank options, no one would survive Shamir's attack. Not even close. But wait a second. Sara's Kia stuff only recovers the penalty unit with the lowest HP, which is Azura. So I can easily isolate either Shamir or Sigurd and make the whole rally trap crumble. Right? See, here they nearly got me. A +10 Sara. Rest in peace return plus. Running odd recovery alongside her Kia stuff. Who would have guessed that? It hit me by surprise, I can tell you that. So, what's going to happen is, Sigurd will dance Chrome, Shamir will ready Sigurd, and if there's any unit in his new attack range, and as this stupid attacking hoe is still running 4 buildings and 6 units, there will be someone in that threat range. Azura will dance Shamir with aerobatic/pathfinder and give her additional movement, which will finally lead to Shamir using her triple attack on someone within this encouraging range. And I don't even want to know what the follow-up for Chrome is. I actually could imagine him repositioning Azura and attacking himself within this range. Yikes. This is actually the first team I've seen dedicated to counter save ball teams, and I love it. So what the fuck am I doing with a save ball team against this map? The answer is nothing. People who have closely observed Shamir's threat range might have already caught a glimpse. The biggest counter against forced turn 1 traps is making it to round 2. It's of course not easy, but if you make it, these teams may fall apart harder than the bittersweet ending of Game of Thrones. I don't know about you guys, but my TV screen only gave me bitterness. Maybe I couldn't get out of Sigurd's threat range, but I had enough space to stay out of Shamir's. There was only one issue. How would I get these slow ass bitches standing in a row out of here?
Like this.
The answer is Pathfinder. I've had mixed emotions about Daga when she was released, but I really learned to value Pathfinder on offense, as it makes positioning especially in turn 1 so much easier. So I Pathfindered my way to the bottom row with Miller and Peony, and made Daga move all the way over to the last safe spot on Earth with the help of Peony's guidance dance. It worked. You love to see this. Round 2, so what now? Odd recovery is out of effect, so only Sara's Kia stuff is left, which will only target Azura, this time for real. With this I could isolate Sigurd, who would no longer be available to dance Chrome, but instead attack no matter what. And there's a far-safe Hector, who he would never attack under any other circumstance, standing conveniently in his threat range. The isolation will also make Shamir unable to rally him, and Azura will see no other meaning in life than to refresh Chrome as soon as Sigurd opens up that space. I'm not gonna lie, this team was set up beautifully, but everything turned against them in round 2. By giving Azura HP +2 somewhere, you could have easily made her match Sigurd's HP and give both of them Kia stuff's recovery effect. But it sadly wasn't there. I could have even baited both Azura and Sigurd standing just one tile to the right, cause Shamir also wouldn't rally or threaten Azura either thanks to Kia stuff's attack speed +6 effect. But I didn't dare, to be honest. As both of the dancers would probably deal 0 damage to my Hector, She would have probably danced Chrome instead anyways, and I would have ended up in his range. And I just didn't want that, so I was playing it safe. Round 3, Bolt Tower activated. Thank God. So instead of making me lose, I actually won by being stubborn. You certainly don't love to see that. To top all of this, Miller dealt exactly lethal damage to legendary Chrome. Lol. If only Grima were here to see this. I mean, technically once you've seen my play you know it didn't matter, cause she could have killed him with a second hit as well. But it was a welcome surprise. Peony's guidance dance being a big blessing once again. Someday she'll end up on a nice blue banner. Apparently not in January though, where she shares her spotlight once again with trash fodder Julia. Screw the people who have taken us the chance to spark her just to get the CYL banner rerun a few weeks before it was rerun once again with Hero Fest raids. I know the banner dropped out before, but I'm mad nevertheless. Look at all these guidance plays, isn't it beautiful? So at this point I only had to put Dagger somewhere and see how good that impact null follow-up node really is.
Pierce the sky, Maltet!
Yeah, I had a feeling. Not that I'm trying to be disrespectful, but I fear that build is not that effective.
Good morning.
So from there I took out Sothis and imprisoned Azura, who already positioned herself in a consent giving way for that. Lock her up! Lock her up! Now there was only pot collecting left to do. To be honest with you, and this is not shit talking on my part, I am disappointed that I won that. It was a beautiful team concept targeting safe balls, and the fact that I still cleared it with safe units nevertheless just shows you why turn 1 Kev teams are the best option in the current meta. As soon as you allow your enemy to go into a second or even third round, it gets really hard for defenses to succeed. Therefore, let's go on to our second match. Turn 1 initiation guaranteed. Or maybe note? Gosh, I love these stupid wordplays. Also, loved all the puns you sent me over on Twitter. Please give me more. So, a +8 Dancer Sigurd, which makes me turn into a green unit out of pure envy. I mean, give me one! I'm fine with a single copy, pretty please. But why the heck is he in the extra slot? This doesn't make any sense. I get that that slot is awful, as you either have to work with it or make sure your dancer can never reach it. But I mean, is he also running 2 solos and a rouse? Is this player actually aware that their Sigurd won't move like ever and wants to make pot collecting a lot harder in the end? Is that the evil mastermind idea? It actually may work. Next we have another +10 Sothis, this time even during her bonus week, and I'm not impressed. I have to stop. Wings of Mercy and ARD Death Res. Rip all the potential fodder. I have a +3 Sothis, and these are merges I regret every day. Just think of all that potential times pulls fodder. Note comes with her base kit at +1, enabling Sigurd to reach any of the lane 4 and 5 tiles. Liv is running base kit plus hardy bearing, so nothing special either. But here he comes. The unit which makes this team pop up in this video in the first place. +10 legendary Sigurd. What a mighty appearance. He's running his base kit, which is fine, and quickened pulse, the only seal you should ever consider on him. Then we have a really heavily invested Finn. Something tells me that this summoner is very disappointed with the missing genealogy remake announcement. Attack Death Solo 4, Speed Def near trace, pull smoke and springy lance. I have actually no idea what it does. Wait a second. Oh, it's a Minerva lance. Attack speed +5 and penalty neutralization. Not bad. And last we have a not transforming, not moving, near safe fallen Gale Force Edelgard. Like, why not putting her in that extra slot? It's not like she goes somewhere anyways. Really strange.
Keep moving forward.
So, first of all, I am sincerely sorry. I swear, Corrin wearing that stupid helmet is not my fault. I switched back to golden goggles right after this map. This was actually the very first time I used the two Corrins together, and I was just farming their support in fucking bonds before, which is why she auto-equipped that helmet. I mean, I guess it's stupid as well, so nothing lost, but I switched back, just so you know. So, despite having all the necessary units, this team actually has no turn 1 potential at all. No odd or even or any recovery also meant that my Loki and Miller were free to do whatever they wanted. I decided to put both effects on Dancer Sigurd to make sure he would stay in that Valhalla celebration path till I dealt with all his friends. I also decided to act as if there was a turn 1 threat and just went in range to help out that poor summoner. That's the kind of person I am. I only wanted to make sure my bolt tower would hit that Fallen Edelgard with her also being out of reach of the healing tower. And she's moving slowly. Very slowly. Now, you may be surprised I'm so casual about this team. I told you before in my last video, Sigurd is actually perfectly able to take apart legendary Corrin, which I've seen many times before in my own replays with my own unmerged Sigurd. Disgusting, isn't it? And this is a +10 copy. But I've built my Corrin with null follow-up and double infantry pulls in order to counter him. No recovery also means he'll be hit by Miller's sabotage attack, and his attack buff for his allies will actually turn into negative buffs thanks to Loki's sudden panic. That's why I also didn't put gravity on Liv. Even though I could have, I wanted to get him out of the way while he was debuffed. So with all of these assets, the damage Corrin takes really looks ridiculous, but I guarantee you, it could have been much higher against a non-optimized team. Liv conveniently positioned himself in a way where he damaged all of his teammates instead of just Seiros. I guess I'll take that. And Finn, yeah, even unaffected by the sudden panic, he... well, maybe his future weapon refine can fix things for him. Edelgard started moving like a fat lady, and she was a menace as expected, making that second turn very awful for me. See, that's why I prefer Moon Twin Wing over null follow-up on Node. Peony's dance and drive made it possible nevertheless, taking that menace literally off the board. And as Edelgard thankfully didn't have Armored Stride, I was free to bait out Sothis alone for the upcoming turn. Edelgard is indeed a monster in this version. And everyone who thinks that Drive NFU by left will make everyone with a speed stat suddenly shit on her is clearly mistaken. I've made the mistake to let an unmerged Edelgard attack me at the beginning of this week, feeling pretty confident with my NFU damage reduction +6 Corrin, and it went bad, resulting in me throwing an, at this point otherwise free victory if I had only waited for another turn. Back then I took my time. My bolt tower hit, and Edelgard was out of the healing tower's range. I could have easily killed her at this point, but it would have made me fall for the ludicrous solo dancer Sigurd menace while trying to collect 2 pots, and I clearly didn't want that. Therefore, I restarted the crazy movement shenanigans engine and made my Corrin work her way underneath the fortress in order to bait out Siggy Stardust instead of killing Edelgard. She would obviously not run away from me anyways. Many thanks, Pathfinder, once again.
Which way to go? Of course.
30 damage! This is actually quite respectable. I guess a lot of teams may indeed either lose a unit trying to collect pots or fail to get them if they paid him no mind. Still, I wouldn't have put him in the extra slot. He could have ended up being solo after dancing a movement enhanced Sothis as well.
Like this.
So, Edelgard was below her health threshold, and Loki was apparently able to beat her, which is hilarious. Therefore, let's get this over with. I took both pots, which would have really sucked with Sigurd around, and let Loki finish Edelgard. I mean, this is the second game where gravity did nothing. She has to do something, right? What? After seeing this, you're not impressed by Fallen Edelgard anymore? So what about this plus 10 version? And all of her plus 10 friends? As it seems, I stumbled into Mr. Whale President himself. The game I know all of you have been waiting for. It's a save ball, but not the version where half of the units don't even have a weapon. This team is here to kill. And oh boy, here are some skills to talk about. So let's do it. First of all, we have Brave Edelgard, the probably least Whalish unit of all of these. Maybe? She comes with Guard X+. LOL. For those that don't know, Guard X+ is the weapon inherited by the Flame Emperor and does nothing but giving the guard effect. Literally, just guard. Okay, nice reference I guess. But then we have also ARD, Death Res and Fatal Smoke. Wow. Moving on, the first of freaking 2 plus 10 backdoors, running Bonfire, Special Fighter and Near Save, while his brother with the equally stupid headgear runs the Far Save variation. All of them are wearing golden accessories. Like, wow, I get it. You can clear abyssal maps with your units. I'm gagged. Please, don't take me serious. I'm watching way too much RuPaul's Drag Race lately, which turned me into a shady bitch. Interestingly, both of them are plus defense. I wonder what happened there. Like, if I had ever 2 of the same premium units at plus 10, I would probably run different boons on them. Mirabilis, running her base kit. Now, that's a disappointment. No Ninja Katana, Sturdy Impact, Null Follow-Up or Tempest build? Must have run out of fodder, I guess. Seiros plus 10 with the ARD, Death Res and Times Pulse, giving her 1 cooldown, noontime. Okay, and here she is. Plus 10 Fallen Edelgard with 4 Death Res, 3 and 2, and once again Fatal Smoke. How? I want to bring back Kronya with Fatal Smoke so bad, but I could never fodder either Sigurd or Liv for her just because they are such premium-ish units. I guess it just stops mattering at some point. 59 defense and resistance though. This is really something. And last and also least, plus 10 bonus Duma with another ARD Death Res, Verifier and Pale Breath. Okay, so you get 61 defense? Is that it? Cool. I'm speechless. In multiple ways. Where did they get all these ARD skills from? I looked it up. Up to this point, ARD Death Res has only been on Kiel, and she has been on 3 heroes with Draconic Aura banner so far. And also on the Mythic Drosir banner, but together with Ephraim, who was shitty even back then, and Valentine's Sorin. I kinda don't see them having spent tons of orbs there. So if you're a whale like that, do you just keep summoning on such a draconic aura banner until you get like, let's say 6 to 7 Kiel, just to fodder them off at some point? Is it that? I kinda don't know what to say. In all seriousness though, this team is impossible. Without the help of my bolt tower, all of my units would just clonk against any of them. I guess Seiros is the frailest unit out of these, assuming you haven't benched Naga yet, seeing that she also isn't covered by the near safe backdoor. But what do you do after you killed her? Make the others slowly follow you like a zombie herd, trying to get them close enough to the bolt trap? How ridiculous would that be? Hit and run looks like the best chance, but even if you manage to chop off piece by piece with stuff like Windsweep, if you're not a high class hooker, you may very well run out of turns till you finished off all of them. In all fairness though, I probably couldn't beat that team if I were randomly running into it. Those stats are just too much. 60-ish death res on Edelgard with 80% damage reduction, 50-ish death res on both backdoors with special and follow-up denial, 62 death and 68 res on a 40% damage reduction follow-up denial Seiros, and Fallen Edelgard who gets into the high 60s with both stats, plus 40% damage reduction, plus denying follow-ups, plus instant Gale Force on herself. Wow. Luckily, I didn't just run into such a team. This whale actually smashed me before like a beetle, already giving me a glimpse of their double save backdoors alongside all of these other plus 10 units. Each single one of them. And after seeing the Guard X Edelgard lead, I had a feeling that I might run into an extreme armor ball. Therefore I created this anti-save ball team, which I literally never got to use again after the single battle. At least I didn't do any crazy fodder stuff apart from giving Pent Windsweep, but I had a spare team with him and Selena to counter the save ball corner teams for quite some time before. I just never ran into one of them. So I obviously didn't know which other units I might run into, but I figured Pent into the backdoors would be a safe choice. Halloween Hector should deal well with the Edelgard lead, and for some additional AoE damage I took Lilina, who I actually foddered Blazing Wind for this occasion. With her own and Pent's cooldown reduction, I only needed one further CD, so I brought along her legendary Fire Daddy, making this a double Hector Lilina team, with Pent. Isn't that cute? Regan must be crying in a corner right now. But despite the counter team, this match was far from being won. A 72 attack, 1.5 times Blazing Wind Lilina may sound great in theory, but only until you realize that it merely deals around 10 damage to Fallen Edelgard. What the actual fuck? My damage after that didn't look great either. Sure, I would get some in-combat bonus stats, but so would Edelgard. My weapons plus 6 attack and Edelgard's minus 6 would nullify each other, leaving me with merely a drive of plus 3 from Plumeria, while she would get another plus 4 from Mirabilis Distant Guard Seal. Great. And then there's the 40% damage reduction popping in. So my follow-up attack would deal even less damage. My Panic Ploy skill on Daddy Hector might have actually been amazing, but sadly he doesn't reach Edelgard's HP by 2 points. Damn! I knew I had to make use of my bolt tower. I would never kill even one of them without that 45 flat damage boost. But in order to make use of it, I also had to make sure they wouldn't simply heal up in the round after that. So that healing tower had to go. Therefore, dancing before combat to increase my stats was sadly not an option, as I would need that dance to take out the healing tower after killing Edelgard. In hindsight, I think tackling the map with Pent from the left side attacking into the far safe backdoor would have been the better choice, but I just didn't think about that back then. Plus 4 Lilina with Blazing Wind has to be good for something, right? So it had to be a bolt tower play. The threshold for Edelgard's abilities is at 25% of her health, so at around 16 health. The bolt tower would put her down to 20, so with the Blazing Wind AoE damage, I would actually disable all the damage reduction of her base kit. Blazing Wind would put her down to 8 health, and without the -6 attack from her weapon and the 40% damage reduction from her B slot, I would actually deal 13 damage to her. Which is still kinda ridiculous seeing my 81 attack Lilina, but we take what we get. There was only one issue. Whimsical Dream. A skill I never gave much credit before. Having Seiros in the extra slot. What an unbelievable waste of merges. Means Mira will dance her each round, giving units within 4 spaces of Seiros a visible debuff of -5 attack and -3 attack in combat. While still being enough to put her exactly out of her 25% health threshold. Merely 5 damage as my follow-up attack wouldn't be enough to get the job done. Therefore, I had to make sure not only to not position myself within 4 spaces of Seiros, but also not within 2 spaces of an ally who is within 4 spaces of Seiros. Has Whimsical Dream always been such a nuisance? What a mess! I swear I never paid that skill any attention before. Besides that, I also had to make sure to buff Pent in round 2, so he would soak the level 8 Bride Shrine, which he only did by merely 3 points after a +6 buff from Plumeria, surpassing Lilina's 108 combined attack and speed stat. I hate this game. I also had to get rid of both traps on this side without damaging Lilina, cause a 40 damage trap or above would have put me out of my own 25% health threshold in order to get the +6 attack from her weapon.
My turn then.
See, isn't Fire Emblem Heroes fun? Now, you may ask what I will do after taking out the healing tower. Just dying? By killing Fallen Edelgard, Mira would no longer refresh Seiros but actually behave like a normal unit, allowing the team to do whatever they want. But I thought of something for that as well. Take a look.
Yes?
This was the most 3 turns ahead thinking chess-like game I've ever done. I made sure Lilina was in range of Pen to get her cooldown reduction. Then I got her out of range of the bolt trap. Which was fake. Wow. Thanks for 1 hour of worrying. Regan and Plumeria started cleaning up my path, while the 2 Hector bodies made their slow way over to the right side, with the help of legendary Hector's armor march. So far so good. Round 2. I had to buff Pent with Plumeria in this turn, so I tested trap number 2.
Of course.
Also fake. Are you kidding me? I guess no one ever tries to go up against Fallen Edelgard. So I buffed him up, brought the 2 armor bodies even closer, and made sure Lilina wouldn't stand within 2 tiles of Pent in order to avoid Mira's debuff. Great. Regan would stay there to get Lilina into range next turn. Fuck. You've got to be kidding me. During this intense thinking and calculating process, where I tried to account for literally anything, I totally lost sight of the simple fact that there are multiple tiles that are 4 spaces away from Seiros.
Yes?
How stupid is that? Does someone have a cricket sound effect for me? Oh my god. Well, maybe I forgot about some other stat increasing number as well? I could still try?
My turn then.
Yep. Where are the crickets? Hey, at least I double! If I somehow survive the 69 plus bonfire retaliation. That's a Fallen Edelgard without a weapon effect or B-skill for you. She could literally stand there with no skills equipped and my damage would look like this nevertheless. Wow. I guess NFU would have really made a difference here. I mean, I can always waste the dance, kill Edelgard and just watch the others going back to full health again. But wait a second. No way!
Yes,
Look at that! When is the last time you've seen a map without a duo hindrance? It is such a rare sight that I didn't even consider duo skills anymore. Wow! I am so damn lucky. And this whale will literally nervously eat his purse while watching this replay. Daddy came back from his break to save the day. Go Lilina, 5 damage! You rule the world. Now to the part which actually brought me into this very stupid whimsical dream situation. The morning after defeating Fallen Edelgard. Lilina dealing 11 damage to backdoor, Pent dealing 20. Maybe I could do it without destroying the healing tower, but I came so far already. So I took it. And then Hector had once again the task to save his little daughter. By putting him next to her, I made sure I would bait both Seiros and Mirabilis, and therefore really face the other units as a slow ass zombie army without any type of doping boost. Or I could just kill Seiros right away. Look at that! 2 damage. Death and res plus 24. Did someone explain the term color advantage to her? To be fair, my build doesn't scream attack and I'm also debuffed, but still. Well, I better take her out right here and now. No other armor around to reach me. Which is hilarious. 2 damage attack. Like, I killed Edelgard with, what, 5? Now Seiros with 2. This summoner is already chewing $100 bills. 5 damage against Mirabilis. I guess it was a good idea to take out the healing tower. Cleanup time.
My turn then. Yes?
Well, soon. 4 damage against Spectre. I mean, I guess you could wind-sweep chop this team down, but at which speed? Without wind sweep, 90 damage. He's clearly mad at his daughter. But still, no one can reach me. So at this point my victory was pretty much granted. But I brought a bunch of armor slayers, and each one of them was supposed to have their own share of the meal. So I took some unnecessary extra rounds to make the summoner hate me for sure. I mean, come on. Triple Mythics and Duma was even in the bonus season. What did they lose? Like 10, 20 lift? With triple plus 10 mythics on offense, this isn't even a scratch in their end performance. And finally, I got to see a big number on my side. Only took color advantage, armor advantage, and a plus 10 unit as well. I love these two. Never regretted spending everything I collected on them. And with Pent we get to see our final attack for this video. I hope you enjoyed this little display of intelligent plays, most of the time, unit shaming, including my own, and a bit of shameless luck. This Fallen Edelgard did still haunt me some nights after that battle. So enjoy playing the vault, watching the vault, and see you next time.